Good morning, all y'all out there. All y'all out there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Uh, Goody.
All y'all out there.
I do that every morning. Every morning I do that. Okay. Not the worst thing that ever happened to anybody. Okay. This is Blue Boy Brown, Adventures of a Family, coloring the comic. And I do this every morning about 10 o'clock in the morning. Didn't do it yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning. I did it at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's because I had something to do in the morning. Somebody got to do the groceries. And I'm doing this during the month of May. And then in June, Tuesdays and Thursdays might be interrupted or at a different time because I'm going back to teaching my college class. And so I'll be online doing that for, 3.5 hours or so. So we'll see. I might do an early morning 1 hour show on Tuesdays and Thursdays during June because I am, if I can get everything together, planning on doing a Kickstarter campaign during June. And so I'm going to be doing everything I can to get everybody to contribute to that. It's going to be I'm not going to go hog wild on this. It's going to be a limited edition. It'll be numbered like an edition of prints are. It'll be numbered one / however many are in the edition, all the way up. The first person who buys a print copy, that's number one. Second person who buys a print copy, that's number two. And maybe in the future, there might be some reason that you'll be glad that you had a numbered copy. And I guess I'll sign it too. And I'll probably do it the same way that I can either sign it in pencil. Pencil's permanent. When you're doing prints, you sign in pencil because pencil doesn't fade. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do it in permanent ink anyway. It's not going to be all blurby or anything. It's probably on the inside front cover because I like it's going to be a beautiful front cover. I haven't done it yet, but it's in my mind, and therefore it will be beautiful. So yesterday was crazy because I just got too technical. I tried to do too many things, and so I'm not doing that anymore. If I'm not going to do a 2-camera setup. That drive you crazy. And if I show anything that I've done under that second camera, I'll just show it on YouTube or something like that, and then I'll link to it in the comments and stuff like that. It's just too much. I'm too old to be worrying too much about this. So this is what we did yesterday. Actually got the dang thing working. Can you believe it? Let me just get that. Got it working yesterday. And I'm going to just go to this. I got this working. It was a real pain in the tail to do, but I also got to espouse some of my color theory, which is not my color theory. It is color theory. Color theory tells you this, that only those things that you can see in the spectrum are colors. Everything else is not a color, it's a value. Black and white are not colors. White in the spectrum is all the colors blended together. That's white light. Black is the absence of all color. So they can't be colors. And you don't see them if you just look up at a rainbow. If you don't see black and white in a rainbow, they're not colors. So that means that you should not add black to a color if you're simply trying to make it darker or lighter. You should try something else first, such as blending two complementary colors together, or all and different percentages of complementary colors, and then basically you got the three primary colors, red, yellow, blue, or red, green, and blue, all blended together, and you can modulate that. And this is what this is what I was doing here. In this area here, if you look at this color and you see it, and we examine the color. Ooh, I made a ooh, I think there's some black in there. Oh, I tried to get rid of that yesterday. Did I? No, I didn't. Look at how I messed up. Sometimes it just gets in there and you don't want it there. What if I took all that out? Okay, I take it all out, and then I start playing around with it. And then I should do this on a different screen and make it multiply. Or make it normal, see what it looks like when it's normal. I get rid of that. What's that? Still has 13. I tell you, it's hard to get away from this stuff. Oh well. Let's do it. That's got 8. I tell you, the way of the world. Okay, I'm not gonna worry too much about that. When you're doing your colors, when you're choosing your colors, it's best to go down there, make that 0. You're gonna get a cleaner color. Okay. And so what I try to do all over here is to use complementary colors together. And that would mean that you add red to the green and you knock it down. You knock it down, you knock it down. Instead of being a grass green, you get a muted green, which we sometimes call army green. And that's what I did all over here. And which, if I did it correctly, I didn't muddy up the color, which is what you're really trying to do. You're trying to keep the color from getting muddy, which happens when you you just add black to a color and it starts to just seem like a colored gray. Anyway, doesn't look so wonderful. And if I catch myself doing that, I'm going to go back and fix it. So today, page 61, we still got the fight going on, but Blue Boy decides he's going to stop it. And here we got it. You know, Clifford is getting the better of his romantic. Well, it's going to turn out to be a romantic rival. Might as well give you that away. I'm not going to tell you too much about it. Anyway, they're fighting, and he's beating the living tar out of this guy, and Blue Boy stops it. And that's what's going to be. This is the last page of next week. So what I got here, I'll go over this again. Here's my border. I put my border up here. I got to lock that. That border allows me to get all types of stuff going on in here and get messy, and I don't have to worry about it. I've got a watercolor scan on this layer so that when I'm doing digital watercolor, it actually comes off looking like watercolor. This is my shadows layer. This is my tone layer, so I don't have to just deal with white. I can erase some of that tone and get to white, and I'll have a middle value there, which I can mess with anyway all the time. Here's my color layer, which is where I'm going to do most of my coloring. This is my regular layer, my black and white layer, and this is my template for this is page 61. So we're going to be on the right. It's a 7 by 10 inch comic book, and I printed out on my nifty high definition printer last night one of the pages that I really like. So it looks really good, and I think I may make real high quality prints like this. One of the rewards for my Kickstarter campaign. We'll see what happens there. So to get on to business, first thing I do is I use my Dodge tool to create some sense that there's light going on. So I'm going to have the light coming in like this. Please work. What's going on? You can do that to me? Sometimes it does that to me. I hate you when you do that. So I'll save it a couple of times, and sometimes it'll just come back. See what it does. Yeah, it just came back. I had to save. Okay. So I'm going to do that. So this enables me to deal with the color without having to have that bright white uh, of the paper interfering with everything. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. And then I'll do that there, and then and maybe his foot will be over there, and maybe I'll have everything in shadows there. You know, sometimes I like that. I like that film noir stuff. Let me see. Oh no 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 no. I think I'll just leave the edges of these light things. I don't know what I call them. Where I'm trying to establish some kind of light. I'm going to just leave those hard for right now. This poor guy's getting the tar beat out of him. He got a few good looks in, but this, you know, sometimes mass equals strength. And Clifford's got him some mass going on. He's one of those big, burly, chubby guys that's low to the ground and can pack a wallop. I guess he's been a lumberjack guy for so long. He's been in his share of fights. So he learned how to fight. So we got that. And we got Blue Boy. Blue got a big nose, big French nose. This is Mommy. Came from the boot heel of Missouri. And there's a lot of French people down there. That may explain that. This whole thing happens in Arkansas, but it really starts out in the boot heel of Missouri, which I guess I'll get into that in later books of the series. I got some cool stuff cooked up for the second book, which is already written. We'll be working on the final script soon. Do. Okay, we'll illuminate the hand grabbing a hold of Clifford Wayne. Erp. We'll do the same thing here. Okay. And maybe this means, yeah, but da. Yeah. Okay. And we got this crowd back there watching all this stuff. There's Paul and Joby. And then we got poor old Leroy. I think his name's Leroy. Yeah, I believe I named him Leroy. It's a good country name. You know, I believe Leroy means the king. I don't think this guy's going to make the king thing work too well for him. Okay. Okay, we'll put this over here. Get a little light in there. Dee. Well, let's just try that out. These things are all malleable. You can do all types of stuff to them. I'll just give that whole thing. Yeah. Help silhouette these guys a little bit and then bring this over here a bit. I want to just be a channel down the middle. Bring it over here. And I can play around with it a little bit later on. Okay. So let's go upstairs. See about. Okay. Now we have to get some colors from here because we want to make sure that this boy here got the same colors in the down here to the color. Make sure he's got the same colors for his shirt that he had on the previous page. And so here we go. And did I? Yeah, I did that. Still, why don't I? I guess I never did it at the beginning. There's my multiply. I have to lay in all the colors that these flat colors so that I can later on go in there and give them some volume. Okay. Ooh, well, I'll just don't want to erase that. I don't like erasing. Just reveals the lower layer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's about to tear his shirt. Okie dokie. Now grab that, do that. I can always lighten the value of that green to make it look like there's a little bit of sunlight spotting through all the dark clouds that are rolling in. Do. Okay, here we go. Go over here. Let's get all this green laid in. It's a good idea to save because the minute you save, you don't have as much stuff going on in your cache files, so you're not messing around with your memory as much. When I had my old desktop for it, the graphics card blew up on me. When I started using this laptop, I had like 16 gigs of memory, so I don't have that much now. I only have about 8, which is better than what I had when I got the computer given to me or traded it for painting. So now, save that. Best to save often. Okay, now I guess this kid's wearing clothes down here too. So I'll put green in there. And my whole point is to use as much pure color in this as I can that's been mixed with other colors to get my muted colors and avoid black and only use it in certain places when you want to just create some real dark shadows or something like that. Use it on the shadow layer. Sometimes I use it there. Works okay because the color still takes over. I guess I could do that down there. Okay, I got him doing that. Then he's wearing khaki pants over here, so I'll get my khaki pants color right there. And okay, there's his khaki pants. Clifford's wearing white. That's real convenient when I'm trying to color him. It's nice to get convenient little things going on that makes your life easier. Yesterday was really rough. I've been out all morning, and then I try to do something that's a little too technical for me right now. and I just about went nuts. Then I just gave it up and just colored, and then everything was all right. Okay, this boy Leroy has mousy brown hair, so we're going to give him some mousy brown hair. What is it? Yeah, it's a mousy greenish brown hair. Boy, he needs to wash his hair. Anyway, we'll give him that mousy brown hair, which maybe has some highlights in them. Yeah, a little bit of. Okay, right there. Got into a really cool exchange with a TV and film writer yesterday. Decided to go into comics. Some people discover comics at a later age than we old timers did. I was like 4 or 5 years old when I read my first Zorro comic by Alex Toth, the Walt Disney version. You know, about Guy Williams, and Zorro is Don Diego coming back to California from Spain and finding out that the government has been taken over by a bunch of jerks. I read that when I was 4 years old. So this guy has just discovered comics, which is cool. And he's looking for all types of information. And so which one did I go after? They're both basically the same. You know, they probably get it from the company store. Let me do that. And I recommended this amazing artist that goes to my old alma mater. And I won't mention her name, and I won't mention his name because they know who they are. And if I'm lucky enough that he watches this, he knows that I'm wishing him all the luck in the world, because if you're a TV and movie script writer, you've already got the chops down for being a comic book writer. It's the same thing, except you're actually choosing the shots in many respects. I don't know if that happens in movies, or you just let the cinematographer and the director handle that. I know you're writing a script for a play that you choose, you know, where everybody's going to be. I know I was reading a lot of. I cut my teeth on Ibsen's work back in graduate school with Raffaelli, and all the plays you're reading are really the things that are directions for the director, so that you know where they come in, what they're doing, and who leaves, from where they leave, and everything like that. Because in Ibsen, that means an awful lot. Right at the end of some of his plays, people just die. They have to die in a particular way because he's got a point of view that is particular to him, that if you don't get it, you just don't get what he's trying to tell you. So looking at those, you know, Hedda comes in on the left through a door. It's the front door. It's there's a maid there. Blah 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 blah. And so comic book scripts aren't much different. You're a lot of the time. I know in my when I do scripts for this, I'm imagining the scene as I write it, and many times I will actually follow my own directions. Sometimes I don't. I get a better idea as I'm actually drawing it. But you got to start somewhere. And you know who the character is going to be and what they're doing, why they're doing it. And I think that's pretty much what you do. You're writing a movie and TV scripts. So the guy's already ahead of the game, which means he's probably going to produce some good scripts. Then as he goes into the superhero genre or does something different. I did superheroes as a kid, but right now just too old for that. I can't do the superhero stuff. I've too much other stuff I've read that's influenced me. And I'm interested in ordinary people who have extraordinary things happen to them. And the Browns are kind of ordinary, except they're poor church mice. That's pretty ordinary. Okay, now let's look at some flesh tones with these guys. Okay, flesh tones. Now we'll go up here. Don't get lost. Okay. Okay, and maybe I'll leave some of the white of the that way I don't even have to mess around with. Yeah. Whoever's got bad teeth, you're out in the woods and everything like that all the time, you don't got time to see a dentist. Tell you before they invented Novocaine, found out about it and everything like that, dentistry must have been just horrible. No wonder why people avoided the dentist back then. Doc Holliday was a dentist. Mess with Doc Holliday. Either get you in the chair or get you in the street. Clifford Wayne Earp, he swears up and down that Wyatt Earp is his third cousin. Now, who's to tell him he's wrong? Who gives a hoot? Nobody's gonna. Right. Wyatt Earp. Well, I don't know if Wyatt Earp's alive in 1914. I think he is. We think about everybody in the Old West as not surviving into the 20th century. Well, they did. Anybody who was in the Civil War in 1914 is probably my age. I'm 67. They would probably be about 67 if they, like Grandpa, he's about 67 in this first book. And he was something like 15 when he ran off, got involved in the war. So here it is. What? 50 years later, it's about 50 years, 51 years, 51, so about 66, 67. Yeah, that's about right. So a guy who's in his, let's say, his 30s in the 1880s is only going to be about what, 35 years later? He's in his 60s. He's about Grandpa's age. So he's still alive. So I think Earp lived into the 1920s. His old age was a lot less violent than his early years. I think he started out in Dodge City, Kansas, where Matthew Dillon eventually ends up, except Matthew's a fictional character and Wyatt's not. Unless you're watching a movie about him. Weird thing to somebody like that to have all these stories built up around him. I'm sure there are Earps, his relatives that are still around. I probably have seen all these movies and say, that's not what Grandpa said. And that was just two families feuding. The gunfight at the OK Corral, the Clantons and the Earps. And they fight because, just like the Hatfield and McCoys, you go and kill my brother, I'm going to kill you. Boy, never want to be involved in anything like that. I've led a very nonviolent life. Happy about that. Not interested in violence at all. Even though there's a little bit of violence in this book, it's not gratuitous. It has a lot to do with the actual what the book is about. Okay, let's give these guys some flesh. And I can always change how the flesh is modulated later on. Got to get something down though. Doop. I have been remiss in not posting these live streams to blueboybrown.com. So today I'm going to try and start doing that. When I get finished with these things, I kind of take a break. So sometimes I don't get back to it till later. Sometimes I'll have a watch party the night of one of these things, since they're just about every day, and do a rerun so more people notice them. Hopefully they do. La 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 la. Bottom of the color. I'm glad I'm on the color layer. Sometimes I look up and I'm on the wrong layer. It's horrifying. I'll have to smooth that out so it doesn't look like he's got some kind of skin disease. I think I said earlier, I don't do flats, which is kind of common for digital coloring in comics. I tried it. I just, I like moving the color around, like you're moving paint around, and sometimes you get some really cool effects. But if you just have one discrete shape that you're doing, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It works for a lot of people, and it's the common way to do it. So it's got to be something good about it. It's just maybe I'm just too squirrely to do it that way. Okay. He's got his hand over there too. Okay, then I'll give this guy some color on his balding head. La 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 la. Okay. So, okay, he's got a face. It's not just ghostly white. He's fleshy colored. Okay, might as well advertise the website's address. One of the things that's going to happen when I go to print is that I think I've said this earlier. I just realized I did something stupid. Because most people read comics on their phone. I've noticed that many people, when they're working out their dialogue and putting dialogue in balloons, they choose um, way too small a typeface. So what I did is I chose a 34 point typeface for my dialogue in my web comics because I know that is just about the smallest I can get in typeface and still be able to read it easily on a phone. You're not driving yourself nuts. I think I had the early part of the comic, I tried 40 point, but 40 point's so big you can't get any dialogue on the page. It's just too small. So I did let me do that. So I did 34 point. Now when I go to print, I can reduce the size of the type to maybe 24 point or something like that. I'll test it out when I get to it because I've got some test prints that I did, and I can just do a lot smaller than that, and you can still read it because it's right in front of you. It's not a computer screen, and that's the main problem with yeah, that'll do it. That's the main problem with computer screens is that you get that blue light and all that other stuff going on, and it'll really mess with your eyes. You don't want to make people um, work too hard to see your comics, but I can add more dialogue, which is what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to say that I can expand on the dialogue and the narration and all that other stuff in the print comic, which I've already got set up. I can do that. So I can do. And I can play around with that. Okay, so now we got that. Let's go up here and take a few colors from here because I kind of like the color scheme up here. And go into that. And I may take that color scheme of those army green bushes and put them up there. In fact, it's probably a good idea to add some continuity to these two pages. This is 61, so it'll be on the right side of the page of that. These two will face each other, so I need to make sure that there's a sense of continuity between those two pages, and that will help by using the color scheme here. I don't have to be too precise here. I'll go ahead and clean things up in a few minutes. I'll have to clean that up. Look at that. Oh well. I remember doing my first digital uh, drawings back in '97. I got a Macintosh stuck in my room for several years before we did the Apple project and got a bunch of Mac OS 10.1s back in 2001. Got about 30 of these computers in my classroom. But I had this all-in-one Mac for let me see, for several years. And so I had this huge Wacom tablet. It was just gigantic. I use a little tiny 4x6 now because those big ones, they're too big. I don't know why anybody would want something that big. But you're using small muscles to draw. Well, you need something that demands that you use large muscles. Anyway, and they were pretty good drawings. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that anymore. That was what, 23 years ago. 23 years since I think it was 23, 24 years ago I started doing this digital stuff because I'd reconnected with Rick Barry after years of not seeing him, and he found out, man, he just like invented this for book illustration. So I said, oh, I might try that out. And at the time, I had a PC, a 486. I was not exactly um, cutting edge. I think the Pentiums had just come out, Windows 95. Yeah. And I had Windows 95 on a 486. And I eventually got rid of all that stuff and went back about 2001. I think I got myself a Mac because we did this Apple project at the school, and so I bought myself a Mac. My own pocket. They should have paid for it, but they didn't. So it looked pretty good. I should display that. There's one particular drawing that looked pretty good. And this kid needs, that's his belly hanging out over there. I'm going to lay a shadow over it later. Okay. So what did I do over here? I use this weird green over here. But I think this is what I did. Read me, Dr. Memory. Those of you who were into sign theater back in the 60s. Okay, I'll do that. Read me, Dr. Memory. Okay, so I'll put this in here and then I'll paint over it. What kind of, it's got 18 of that, so we're not going to tolerate that. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, okay. Better. I'll put this back here. Then I will put a mottled color application in this green, and I'll get a optical mixing of this red and green, which will, do the kind of stuff that Sarad was doing in his divisionist style. And, Impressionists did the same thing. I think a lot of this from Constable and Turner. It's a real good thing to get into color theory when you're doing comics because it'll help you out. Since we're doing our own coloring, some people let other people do their coloring, and that's cool, especially if you're producing an awful lot of comics. But I'm retired. I've got plenty of time to do it myself. And I enjoy doing it. It enables me also to, play teacher, which I doubt if I'll ever get out of my system. Once you're a teacher, you're a blowhard for the rest of your life. You're gonna. And I got a I have an old friend. We get started talking, we start talking about this kind of stuff, and I start go into my teacher mode, and he gets ticked off because he says, "You have to act like I don't know what I'm talking about." I says, "No, man, this is the way I talk when I'm talking about when I'm theorizing everything. I talk like I talk to my students. It doesn't matter if you've been doing comics or art for 30 years and everything. You just forgive me. That's the way I am. Just the same way when I'm in a classroom, I don't talk in a low tone like this. I'm projecting my voice. I'm booming it out. And you do that because my earliest experiences as a college teacher were in these huge rooms, and there was people in the back. They couldn't hear a thing I said unless I boomed it out. So I've been doing that for 30 years or so. Just just go from the back of your. Maybe I should do that in another layer. I'll do it on. No, I'll create another layer here. I just want to make sure that I make it multiply, but I don't want it to. Nope, I wanted to make it normal. Let's try making it normal. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Avoid the edges there so it doesn't obliterate lines. Okay, I think that's what I want to do. Okay. I just very lightly touch this so you don't get a. That'll cause these two guys to pop out. But I'm not just using black and white, which I'm loath to do. I want to avoid black and white if I can. Okay, just do that over a little bit. Do that over here. I think I need to enlarge this so I can see my old eyes can see this a little bit better. And do the same thing over here. Okay. And I should do it over here too. Okay, what do we got here? Okay. Should we do the same thing? Yeah, probably should. Probably should do the same thing over here. Look in here. If I don't play around with this a little bit more, his head's gonna get disappeared in all this green. So I'm gonna mess around with that so I can separate that mousy brown hair from that red and green. thing going on there. So I have to do that over here too, a little bit. Otherwise, it just looks kind of, it'll separate from that area. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Yeah, I can always play with that. So I probably need to do the same thing over here. Yeah. Nah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just do it like that. Let's see whether or not that works. Don't let that whole area there to line up too much with that bonk thing. Which means that I gotta probably make this some kind of yellow. Let me see if I can make it a real yellow. Real difficult to find a real yellow because yellow has a very short range. Does not lend itself. That didn't work because I'm on a normal layer. Now, should I make it a, yeah, I probably should make it a blue. Let's see what I can do about making this blue. And maybe I should do something over here, go down to this layer, and just, I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Now, gotta mess with this background area here, which I think has to be kind of stormy skies. So let's see what I can do. Okay, it's got to be stormy skies. We'll see how I do that. And that's I'm going to give myself another layer. I'm going to be indulgent today. Okay. Okay. And I want it to be multiply. Just a little bit of an edge there. I still have to dark. darken up these clouds. It's on a different layer. I can clean that up. Darken this up and give it some ominous stuff, which means that I don't have to be that careful. And I sure am not being one of my raw doofy things. Come on, guy, do it. For some reason that didn't register. Oh, that's life. That's my life. Okay. Matisse had this thing where he said when you lay in a color area that you should not just paint a flat color that goes up to the edge of another shape. You should give it a little bit of room to breathe. There's a certain wisdom in that. And I'll do the same thing over here. This is looking as if this is all part of his hair. I'm going to have to change that. I may have to get rid of that. Yeah, I think we have to get rid of that entire area. Yeah. Okay. That's life. So, where was that? Okay, I was in the color area. So I'm going to have to erase that entire area. First get rid of that. Then I don't really like erasing. I'd rather just dodge it, get rid of it that way. Yep, that didn't work. Could be a lot better. So his head has to stand out there. Okay, go over it again. Leave that little red halo around there. Then you go over it again. By this time, you're getting it. And if you were to do that, you probably get it first time. Okay, now go around to that. Get rid of that. Huh. Ah. I prefer to use this dodge thing because if you use an eraser, you're basically creating a hole in that layer. Okay, go down here and get rid of that. Yeah, I think it'll work out better that way. Okay. Getting there. Yeah, I needed his head to stand out. I couldn't have his head just disappear into that. Okay. So back to my gratuitous layer here. And I'll hope that works where he gets against blue. It should work. It should work. Since that's a warm color against a cool color, yeah, it'll work. Okay. Okay. Gotta be real careful here because you can go back and you're making more work for yourself. Okay. Now here I'm making more work for myself, but it's okay. Okay, over here. Okay. Now, let's play around with smoothing out some of these things here. Trying to not make too many extended strokes. Otherwise, I get the rotary phone that goes on forever. Just want to blend this in a bit. Little watercolory there stuff. Okay, that's getting there. I can lay in some darker blues later on. Let's look at that. Starting there. Way to go. I use the same blue down here so that it looks like it happened in the same instances. Okay. This is a lot better than me trying to do something really complex. It's beyond the capabilities of my little setup here. Maybe I should do some research into how people do such cool live streams using the same deal I have. Like Jason Brubaker has a really, really nice live stream, and I think he has a webcam over up above to the left of his workstation, and so he can do lots of things. But he's been doing this a long time. I just got back into it, so I can't expect myself to be on his level just yet. I was watching one of his live streams yesterday. The guy's cool. I like him a great deal. He's not just he's a deep thinker too. He's not just a guy just doing comics. I like this guy. I got much of my idea for going back into comics was because of reading his book on natural talent. And I said, could this be? It took me several years to say, okay, maybe I could do this. And now it's been a couple of years since I started it, and I've only been on the web, having actually done the arthritis, the public stuff since January. So this taking time to percolate, but Brubaker is a good person to look at. Good guy. Some brains going on there in that guy. Okay. Okay. So, rotary phone. Time to drink coffee. Okay. Go back over here. What did I do over here? Yeah. I probably, yeah. This here appears to be just too intense. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and lightly give myself a way to lighten it up without having to go over it again. Okay, now all I have to do is smudge it some. Kind of desaturated it a bit. It's on it's on that color layer. But by doing this, I make that green of the bonk effect stand out a little bit better. So all's well that ends well. Bring this down a little bit. Okay. And I can go over that and do the same kind of little effects I did. In the on the other page. You want to get rid of these things as strokes. They can be little blobs of color, but strokes I don't want to be just little strokes. Okay. Works a little bit better. We'll see. We got a way to go on that. Let me see. So maybe I should use that color to inform these areas. Okay. And all these figures in the background, they're going to be mostly, there's going to be a screen of color over them. I'm not going to give them individual attention. I think that'd be a mistake because then you'd be taking away attention from our main actors in this, which is we got 3 guys. 2 guys been in a fight, and Blue Boy is stopping the fight. Pretty gutsy for a 12-year-old kid. One thing happens to old Blue Boy when he gets out, starts really exercising and throwing logs around and everything like that. He really gets into the joys of his hugeness. I'm not that big. I'm 6'3". I weigh about 225, 230, somewhere between that. I keep bounce between like that. I'm the little guy in my family. But I do know there's a certain, when I was young, it's not so much now. When I was young, it was really cool being one of the biggest guys around. There's always somebody bigger than you. When you got a 6'7" brother, there's always somebody bigger than you. But there's a real coolness about being a big guy. When I used to work unloading trucks at Utrecht, it was fun picking up a huge roll of canvas that took 2 guys to pick up usually, and I just put it in my back and walk in the store. Oh, those were the days, but long over. Those days don't last. Eventually you become an old man. That's the way it is. But this is what happens to Blue Boy when he's out there, hanging out with, men who work their tails off and all that stuff. And he's getting to the first vestiges of his manhood. I think I'll do do that over there, and I can always play with it in a few minutes. He's getting stronger all the time. That's the whole point of this. He gets stronger and bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger and bigger. D D D D D. Okay. And we'll put this over here, which is a slightly lighter value of that. I will try to blend in whatever's going on there. Yeah. With what is going on with my background people. Yeah, probably this area here is going to have to be knocked down a bit. But I think I'll do it with a different color then. I'm not going to gray it or anything like that. Let me see. Over here, I don't want to confuse that with, anyway, green is not the big deal here. Okay. Okay. This guy's suspenders are blue, very, very blue. So I got to do that for him. That's how we recognize, without a shadow of a doubt, this is Mr. Earp. I don't have to keep identifying him. Okay. So, Blue Boy is wearing brown pants, but do we? Yeah, there's his brown pants. Okay. So I got to color his pants. Okay. Now, want to kind of blend in this right here. Well, I just saw on the news last night that the Cal State University system is going to be online this fall. Man, if they do it, there's a good chance that a lot of colleges will, including mine. If our university system, which is governed by a board of regents, does it, will probably do it for my school too. Okay. Now, there's this color. And how come I did not give you 10? These things happen. Okay. Probably because of the tone. Now I'm going to move this down a bit. Get rid of that because of the tone, I'm gonna have that in there anyway. Then I'm gonna try to see what that does. I can always play around with it later. Let's play around with this. This is just experimenting. It may be a complete disaster and then I have to redo it, but that's okay. All I'm doing is wasting your time, not mine. Yeah, that's probably a little too candy. A little too candy-ish. Let me see. Oh, when I get my rotary phone going on. After that, I probably should save. Probably help keep the rotary phone from going on too much. Okay. Now, I'm gonna, I got a problem here. Okay, I could do that. Is that possible? I could do both of those. Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. And I'm going to go back to my short strokes. Because I don't like the rotary phone. Okay. Short strokes. Short strokes. Short stroke. Short stroke. Short stroke. Short stroke. Short stroke. Short stroke. And there's something I can do here because this is on a fairly discrete layer that is not connected to that blue background, which I was maybe silly in putting it up in that layer 3, but I always have a workaround for these things. because that green is a little too um, divorced from everything else. It's like a green that doesn't belong there. But I can play with that. I can play with that. Yeah, there's ways to play around with that. Now go up here and do the same thing in there. Bring this blue down into the green. Yep. Bring the blue down into the green. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to this layer, and I'm going to isolate it. Okay. Then I'm going to go up here into adjustments, hue, saturation, and see if I can find the correct color for that. So it doesn't look like it was misplaced there. That's a little bit closer. Maybe. Let me see if I desaturated it a bit. Or maybe I saturated it a bit. I saturated it a bit. Let's try that. Okay. Then play around, smudging it around. And make sure that I have got that color done up. Rotary phone, rotary phone, rotary phone. Now let's, okay. Bring this down here. Now, can I bring this up and have the two meet? Just a thought. See if I can do that. It's a thought, just having the two meet, those two merging into each other. Fortunately, if they actually do exist on the same layer. So okay. Okay, let me do that. Okay. Up here and bring some of this into all this so that I can really blend the two in. Okay. There. Okay. Now, what if I were to go into the tone layer and got rid of some of this so it looked like, to a certain extent, there was a little patch of blue that had shown on that area. And then I could burn some of this area so that I start to get some kind of a sense that this is not just a stain, but it's maybe people in shadow. Now let's go up to this layer here and see if it's worth doing some modulation of this. And let me see, play around with that. Yeah, bring that down a little bit. Just giving a little tap to the brush tool, just tapping it, getting less of the rotary phone by doing that. And it starts to cause these two areas who are not, one's warm, one's cool, but they start to look like they could be naturally occurring and not just colored. Yeah, they're starting to get there. Yeah. Now I can dodge some of this. And maybe make it look as if there's some justification for thinking that that is a little spot of sunlight coming through over there. All the time, remember, this is watercolor. Do it over here too. Remember that that's one of the cool things about this is being able to go on to different layers and gonna need to do that. And I'll bring him down a little bit. Make him bleed into that. And yeah, maybe it's working. And here in this layer, just to make sure that I'm give this guy some color to his outfit. Do. Because I made that. Was there a reason for why I did that? Yeah, there's a reason why I did that. Yeah. So what was that? No, that's what I was doing. Okay. I'll bring that down there. Yeah, that's the reason I did that. Why I didn't. Yeah, had to have that normal. Okay. So don't do it on that layer. What was I doing? Oh, doing over here. Okay. That's a multiply. use this zoom tool a little bit. I don't know how to use that, do I? Or they just do it with the keyboard. Okay. It's sort of getting there. Okay. Can I do the same thing over here? Probably was a dumb idea that I didn't do it before. Oh well. So I could do it over here. These guys. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, about like that. Okay. And blend some of that. Rotary phone, rotary phone, rotary phone. Okay. Probably be a good idea. Bring this over here. A little bit of that. A little bit of that. A little bit of that. And then, as much as I really don't want to, bring this over here, because otherwise it just stands out like a sore thumb. I'm going to use that to give some contrast to old Blue Boy's big old nose. Yeah, I guess I can do that. Now, up here, this really just has to be some kind of straw color up here. Not much you can do about it. Which kind of helps with that area. over on the right, that's this really dark. Can I go over here on the tone layer? And create a gradation there from light to dark. I think I can, except I play around with. Yeah, I need to make I need to make him stand out a little bit more. His shirt's gonna have to get some light on it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can brighten some of that up over in the, yeah, in the line art layer too. And then over here in the color layer, I can do the same thing. Make him look like he's being hit with light. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more of that. And then we need to darken these guys up a bit. So they don't come forward. So they don't come forward. Yeah. What I should do over here too. Okay. Starting to get there. Maybe bring a little bit of this over here. And probably need to play around with that area over there. Not in tone, not the tonal area. Huh. Okay. Now, what should I do to make these guys start to really pop out? I could always. I don't like that. I don't like using any black on a face. I did that in a earlier page. I'm going to go back and fix it. I'd rather use on this layer, not that layer, this layer. I'd rather use this to get a sense that there's a deepening value of that. Then you still have color interaction, which you wouldn't have if you use black. Black doesn't interact with colors. It just interacts with, as a value. You don't get an interplay. Okay, what's this? Okay, we have that. We have this. Many times after I've messed around with this for hours in this live stream, I'll go back and I'll fix everything offline because you need that time to let it gel in your own mind. How do I blend all these together? This is not so bad. It's kind of cartoony, but that's not such a horrible thing. I haven't done a dang thing with shadows. So what if I took a grayish color here, got rid of that because it's gonna be there anyway. And laid some stuff down. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I've got the shadows as normal. Bad boy. Okay. What are you doing? Okay. Huh, what was that? Okay. Was I able to do that? Yep. For some reason I'm getting really slow results from this brush. Huh. Low 70%. I wonder why. That's a little better. Okay. Okay. A little purple. It's coming off as purplish. I don't know why, but it is. In this shadow area, I think I can. Okay. This is ultra weird. Oh God. Oh, I see. I put it as darken. I actually like it better as darken. Yeah, I'll leave that as darken. Yeah. Okay. Huh. That area there needs to be green. A different layer. Made a boo boo. Okay. Okay, I'm finished with those guys. Now I have to play around with the bottom. And back when I was in college, I was doing an etching, and a professor, wasn't my professor, comes in and says, a visual noise in there. You need to quiet that down. I think that's what I have to do here. So how do I do that? Well, that's not on that layer. Huh. What layer is that on? Nope. Hmm. Okay. Play around with that. Play around with that. Play around with that. Play around with that. I wonder why that's not on that layer. Could be on the tone layer. Yeah, I guess it is. And that's on the color layer. I've just kind of left this guy alone. You know, need to get the EMTs to him. Okay. Around and quieting down some of these things, which has a lot to do with edges. Getting the edges not to vibrate. It's what happens when you have a breadth abrupt high contrast edge there makes that area vibrate a little bit. You don't want too much of that going on, because then you just don't get the plane to settle down and actually be where you want it to be. Okay. Okay. Just go around here and quieting down some of this visual noise. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going around and quieting down what I consider to be visual noise. Things that aren't causing planes to hold, so that the plane holds its place and doesn't get jostled by a lot of extraneous stuff going on that doesn't add to the doesn't make it work. And over here in this shadow, I may do the same thing I was doing up here. That little color there, so I may, over here in the shadows, I can do this, is knock this guy down a little bit. Still let some of the green show through, but knock him down so that I don't have him popping forward and interfering with my two main characters up here. And I might actually be able to do some of that here. Let's see, I can always change it. I don't think I like that. Yeah. But it works, probably work down here. Yeah, didn't like that either. Okay. Let me go over here and play with that over there. I kind of like that. Uh, to darken instead of multiply on these shadows was a nice happy accident. I didn't plan it, but it's kind of working out. And maybe I can soften that a little bit. Yep. Okay, soften some of this stuff. It's a little too hard. And go back over here. Okay. That's not so bad. I could do that over there too. Get some shadows in for Blue Boy. That I don't want to play around with this too much. Let me see what I can do. Now I have to smudge it some. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm at the point where I'm thinking, okay, you've done enough damage. Why don't you leave this alone? I have an old theory that everybody needs somebody to tap him on the shoulder and say, you've done enough. You mess it up, you play around with it too much, you're going to make it too busy, too squirrely, and then you got to do the dang thing over again. Knock down that really reddish thing going on in Clifford's face. A little too much of that. But anything I can do back here to quiet this down a little bit. I think it's working. Yeah, this is quieting down this area a bit, so it's not just quivering. I'm going over onto the left, that haystack. It's not so much a haystack as a pile of brush. That's what Blue Boy does all day long. He piles up brush, lays it on the road, makes sure that the mud doesn't mess up the road, so that the log wagons get bogged down. And so let's go over here and see if this helps the sky out any bit. That was a little too much. Yep. Okay. Let's soften up that edge there. Soften up that edge there. That edge. A little bit of softness there. Maybe go down to the color layer and apply that color just barely right here. Just barely. And let's look at it. Well, okay. Let me look at this.
Oh, finally, what a relief. I really appreciate
Okay.
your help. And I'm so sorry.
Right now I'm going to just
It's totally my fault. No, but I had to speak to the lawyer's office.
sweetheart. Okay. Let me see how this is going. Let me see if I can enlarge this guy. Yeah, I can enlarge. No, yeah. Okay. And then can I reduce it though? Don't do this to me. Can I reduce it? No, I can't. Okay. But anyway, this is what it'll look like. Not. I'll play around with that lower panel a bit. Yeah, and I'll fix that up. And I'll put this. I'll do some kind of. I'll do some kind of watch party on Facebook tonight. And then tomorrow, what I may do is I may recolor a double page spread of 8 and 9, which is the Battle of Gettysburg, or look around something I want to redo that I am not terribly satisfied with. I gotta work on this, but I'm not gonna keep on doing this. Okay, so stop sharing that. Share this application window. And sooner or later, I should do a little demo on how I got this silhouette drawing that is part of my opening and closing screen. That's all done with a big mechanical pencil on bristlecboard vellum surface. And an old buddy of mine, a old Spider-Man Marvel artist, looked at it and said, "I like that." So I guess if he likes it, it's okay. So I like those old silhouette things, which you see a lot in book illustration from the late 19th and early 20th century. A lot of that stuff. It's sort of like silhouette animation that was a big deal in the teens. I was looking at some of the silhouette stuff that was done back in that time. It's gorgeous stuff. Anyway, so we're about 2 hours and 33 minutes into this. That's okay. And so I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I'll either do Battle of Gettysburg or I'll do something else. Okay. And I'm out of here. You guys have a good Thursday, and I will too. Bye-bye.